Morning, everybody. Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the Ordinary Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 the Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I host the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Care, and it's also co-sponsored by Dad Essential, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And through those organizations this year, I've had a chance to reach out directly or indirectly to over 75,000 fathers around the world. And I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases food, Blacks in the diaspora that are involved in food, drink, and travel. Mr. Ryan Knight, what's been going on? It seems like it's been forever since I've seen you.
And it's been less than a week, but so much things happen within 4 to 5 days. I feel like such progress, such symbolism, such repetition. And what was the third one? Trauma.
Trauma.
Trauma. Hopefully
trauma,
not.
Symbolism. Trauma, repetition, symbolism.
Repetition, yes. And so for those that don't know me, thanks for joining us. My name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to figure out what stage they're in today and grow their businesses with help from a coach and holding you accountable, making that blueprint to scale your companies. And for myself, I'm also an entrepreneur. I run a social enterprise called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we come to your house or to your office, clean your car on the spot without using water and using our eco-friendly plant-based products. And again, last call, we are shifting our youth program to a weekend. So I know school is starting back, but we're going to be doing weekend boot camps. So if you have a college or a high school or a youth that's out of school and looking for work, we are doing our youth entrepreneurship program still during the week if they're not going back to school yet, or on the weekends if they're going back to school in the fall. And I'm also today representing Ebony Occasions.
Who's that?
So that is my wife's company. She sells Afrocentric greeting cards. So I always say, don't send your Black friends white faces. If you have an occasion that you're looking for a card for a person of African or Caribbean heritage, think of Ebony Occasions greeting cards. You can send them, and they also do thank you cards for our business owners. We actually purchased 100 as ACBN to send out to all of our members and some of the other leaders of our community so that we can say thank you for the great work that we've done. So Alethia is actually going to be my first thank you that I'll do in person, who is our guest today. But Dr. Vi, would love for you to introduce her and then we can.
Okay, so I am having a little bit of a technical challenge on my end, so I'm going to be back in about 30 seconds. So if you could set Alethia up, and I'll be right back in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I was able to meet Alethia when she had become, I guess, the leader of the Dufferin County. I always forget if it's Business Association. I believe there's another word in there, but she's running the business association similar to ACBN in Dufferin County. So Dufferin County is like east of, I would say, Caledon, Shelburne area. And
okay, hold on, a lot of people don't even know that. So you got to drill down a little bit more. Deeper. Yeah.
All right. So I'm in Brampton, and Brampton's in Ontario, and Ontario's in Canada, just in case for our
hold on a second. Start with Toronto and go outward.
Oh dear. Okay. So Brampton is northwest of Toronto. So if you know Toronto, Dufferin County would be west of Toronto. But if you're in Brampton, where I am, it would be northeast. So it's kind of north in between of Toronto and Brampton, beside a town called Caledon, which technically is like an extension of Brampton, but they're in the Peel region. And so the Peel region is part of Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon. So Dufferin County, I believe, is connected to Peel. Alethia can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But yeah, she's been really expanding the Black empowerment in the Dufferin County area. And I met her through, oh my goodness, it was one of the MPs. I believe it was either Kyle Seaback or an MP further east, but introducing us to Stephen, who's the deputy mayor.
Oh,
Is it
you're good,
Alexander?
man.
Yeah,
You're good. Steve Anderson. Yes, keep
Steve
on
Anderson,
going.
yes. So got to meet him.
Whoa.
And actually, he bought one of the books that myself and my daughter Jasmine wrote. Jazz and Dad Start a Lemonade Stand. So got to meet him briefly when we dropped off the book. And he's been a supporter of Ebony Occasions. Just on LinkedIn, connect with this man because he's very visible and always answers my questions about politics because I need to know what a deputy mayor does. So he was very forthcoming in just answering my dumb questions. But the greatest introduction was from meeting him now introducing me to Alethia. So we have more, I'll say more in common. We're running similar organizations, myself in Peel and her in Dufferin County, and now being able to collaborate and see how we can support each other and definitely amplify the organizations. So I'm happy to chat more and to get
Wow.
more people to find out
What an
more.
intro. I was going to read the formal one. I'm just going to throw that away. That's a better introduction because it's less formal, more personable.
Right.
Okay, so you know what? Let's bring her up. There we go.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. What an introduction, eh?
Wow, I'm floored. I'm wondering who that person is. It's amazing.
Well, if you want, I'm not rude. We could remove you from the screen and see if it's somebody else.
But no, I know I was butchering the name. So if you could tell everybody the proper name of the organization.
Absolutely. It's the Dufferin County Canadian Black Association. So short form DCCBA. And I'll just jump in and give you the geography of Dufferin County. So Dufferin County is essentially like Peel, right? So Peel is Mississauga, Brampton, and I think Caledon. So Dufferin County is the town of Mono, the town of Shelburne, Orangeville, Grand Valley, Malmore, Melanchthon, etc. So there's a few smaller municipalities that make up Dufferin County. The organization itself was formally established in the town of Shelburne, which is where I reside. And geographically speaking, we are about 35 minutes straight up Highway 10 north of Brampton. Can't miss us. For the GTA folks, we are halfway between Blue Mountain and downtown Toronto. So a nice little central hub.
Wow. Geography lesson and with personality. I'm all over that. That is beautiful. So let's converse. How long have you lived there, and what was the reason for moving to that area of Ontario?
We have been here now about 7 years. So my husband and I, we were on the hunt for a new home. We actually lived in Brampton for quite a few years, and we knew that we wanted to expand, and but we also wanted a quiet space. And so, of course, Ryan, you know, your business is in Brampton, and Brampton is fairly busy. So we definitely wanted someplace a little bit more quiet where we raise a family and settle down. And we actually stumbled on Shelburne. It was a family friend that mentioned that they purchased a property in Shelburne. And I was like, where's Shelburne? And then we did a quick search. We saw some developments and properties that we liked, and we thought, okay, this is interesting and promising. We made a few trips north and turned back several times only because it seemed so far. Eventually, my husband convinced me to make the drive. And once we made the drive, I fell in love. We all fell in love. And that's how come we were able to make Shelburne home. It was nice. It was quiet, and it was an easy drive once you actually took the time to go the distance.
And then, so being there now, why was the DCBA or DCCBA so important, and what made you want to become involved?
Wow. So when we first moved, the number of Blacks were not as visible in Dufferin County, to the extent that when my daughter was going to high school in her senior year, she was one of very few Black students in the school. And I know she wanted to establish a Black society in the high school, and it was just unheard of. And so over the years, we started to see the demographic starting to change, and we started to have conversations around how we can become more involved in the community. So a group of community advocates and leaders like myself just stepped up and asked the question. Of course, we have the first Black councillor, who's now the deputy mayor, Steve Anderson. So he was, of course, a prominent figure in Dufferin County. And so as the population started to grow and expand, we were able to see the demographics change over the years, right? And so around 2019, I reached out to our Dufferin County Council and asked if we could have Black History Month proclaimed in Dufferin County. And we had unanimous approval to be able to do that. And February 2020 was the first time we were able to host a Black History Month celebration at the Museum of Dufferin. And so we're looking at all of those activities and the things that we were able to implement in such a short period of time, and basically said it was time. Conversations were held with various community leaders, and just the need to establish something, but nothing was happening. No one was taking to do anything. And so last year, I literally just bit the bullet and said, you know what, we're going to do this. I reached out, of course, my deputy mayor, and he was on board. I had a conversation with my husband and my family, and they said, absolutely, if this is something you're passionate about, go forth and get it done. And that's exactly what I did. So we are here now, just over a year later, and lots to celebrate, lots to talk about, but we'll get into that later.
When you were initially moving there, what were your first few months like?
To be quite frank, we drove back to Brampton for all of our necessities. So all of our Caribbean food, spices, we made a trek back to Brampton. It was literally come home from work, sleep, get up and leave again. That was the routine. And then eventually, actually, my husband started a basketball program because we started to see the change in the demographic and the number of Black youth that were coming up, and not just Black youth, but just young people in general that were moving from different locations, whether it was Brampton, Toronto, Barrie. A lot of children were moving into the community. And so he started a drop-in program at the elementary school, just free of charge. Anyone can come in and participate, learn how to play basketball. For high school students, if you wanted to get some volunteer hours, you can come volunteer and develop some leadership skills while you're at it, right? If you want to play a little bit of soccer, not a problem. It didn't require you to have a skill. And so that was another thing that we saw a change in the demographic and a need to be able to establish something. So that was essentially almost the kickoff point for even for us to be able to start this Black association. So as I said before, we had to trek it back to Brampton for a lot of all the things that we wanted to do, just simply because it wasn't here. The diversity, maybe it was here then, but we weren't seeing it, right? And possibly because others were doing the exact same thing that we were doing, going back to Brampton, going back to Mississauga, Toronto to get all of those things that were essential for us. Of course, things have changed significantly now. The stores are carrying everything, and we have Black-owned stores in Shelburne, including a grocery store. So a lot have changed.
Ryan?
Love that. And I was curious because with that, like, it's happening so quickly, knowing that things weren't there and now they're there. So I'm curious, like, what other, I don't know if it's amenities or what other things would you feel could be brought to Dufferin County that are still missing? Like, what would be on your wish list to get up there?
Wow. A community center. That would be one of the biggest things and so we do have a small rec center, but it's not very inclusive right now. It's great and it serves the community to some extent, but we could have something bigger where we could have a basketball court, a tennis court, volleyball, indoor swimming, right? That would be something that I think would benefit our young people, not even just from a recreation perspective, but even employment. Leadership skills, social development skills. Those are some of the critical things that the community of, especially Shelburne, could use right now. In terms of other amenities, we have grown significantly in terms of other businesses. We have, as I mentioned, a Black-owned Afro-Caribbean grocery store that was established recently. We have a Black salon and cosmetics shop, including a barber shop. We have a dollar store. We have our own driving school, Shelburne Driving School, that is also Black-owned. So there are at least 7 Black-owned businesses in Shelburne with a storefront. Okay, I'm just saying, just the ones with a storefront. There are several others that don't have a storefront that are operating online and quite successful. So we are a thriving, booming, small community.
In your conversations with members of the Black community in Shelburne, what reasons, are they telling you what reasons they are coming to Shelburne area, and what are some of the reasons for those who tell you?
Great question. So one of the reasons definitely initially was the cost of homes in Shelburne. The other aspect of it was from a safety perspective. Again, small community, having the opportunity to have your neighbors look out for each other, right? In the bigger communities, bigger cities, people tend to just focus on, getting to work and, head down, things done. It's a change of pace right now. It's a change of lifestyle. And if Shelburne's slogan is essentially, a change of pace. So that's one of the main reasons that people have been moving to Shelburne. Now I can't really say that the house prices is an attraction because, of course, the market has skyrocketed significantly over the past few years. Looking back, I joke with my husband saying, when we purchased, we should have purchased 3 properties because things would be amazing right now, right? Hindsight is 20. But we do find that there are still a few people moving to Shelburne, and one of the attraction too is they're seeing the great work that we're doing in the community. They're seeing the active role that our deputy mayor, as an example, and other leaders like myself are doing to put Shelburne on the map, to make Shelburne a more inclusive community to reside in. So we've had people reaching out from as far as Pembroke, as far as Nova Scotia, asking about Shelburne. And inquiring what it's like to live here and how they can make a move. So I think from a diversity perspective, that is really one of the key drivers as well.
Just to build on that, and of course, house prices are not going down anywhere. Are you concerned that will be a barrier for an increased Black population in Shelburne?
Definitely. And one of the things that another community leader and I have had some really robust conversations on is, yes, and I'm not going to say that the Black community, we don't have money, right? But there are some pockets of the population that are not afforded those same opportunities where you can afford prices at the rate that they're at right now. So how can we look at some kind of a rent to own kind of model where we can put individuals in homes instead of having to pay rent, right? Because rent is astronomical right now. So how can we flip the model to be able to get individuals who are able to pay rent, may not necessarily have the fantastic credit, but to get a mortgage, but we know that they're responsive. We know that simply an opportunity to be able to start investing into something, to be able to invest in their future and start to build that equity. And so those are some of the conversations that we're having. And I believe she's probably even listening to this call right now. It's Trisha. Those are some of those healthy conversations that we're having to try and see how we can mobilize to be able to put something. And I'm sure, Ryan, I see you're smiling. I'm sure this is something that you can definitely jump on board and share your expertise with us, right, to be able to build our community.
And I'm curious, like in your mind, what would be some other program, or better than that, where do you see Dufferin County Canadian Business Association? What would be the focus? Like, what would be the organization's superpower if you wanted to like really drill down and get one thing right? What would be that thing? And again, if there's various, happy to hear them all, but I'm curious where you'd want to like really focus on for what you're doing with the organization.
Wow. So we have a few areas that we would like to focus on. One would be our young people. I think that is critical and the most important for me. And when I say young people, so right now we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary where we were able to award a number of scholarships to our young people. We had scholarship or bursaries for elementary school students, so graduating from grade 8, going into high school, and it was essentially looking at it saying, you're excelling right now in elementary school. We want you to continue on that path of excellence, right? So we're going to recognize your efforts in grade 8, but also encourage you to continue on that path of excellence. And so we wanted to establish that. And that was the first thing that, or the first time we were able to offer something like that in Dufferin County, or anyone was able to offer that in Dufferin County to our young Black students. Jumping off that point, the scholarship opportunities, again, were to recognize individuals who are doing amazing things. And we had lots of sponsors who stepped up to say, you know what, Alethia, we believe in the cause, we believe in the initiative. We know that one of the barriers to post-secondary education is funding, especially for our Black students. So we are going to throw our support behind your organization. And of course, with education, then it affords individuals opportunities for those jobs that are fantastic and that can empower a community, empower that individual to build, right? And then so you're now able to develop that foundation where we can start saying, okay, we're going to now look at generational wealth, right? Because you're now starting with our young people. One of my ideal dream, my blue skies would be to have a scholarship that is fully funded for a Black student. So there entire university curriculum would be fully funded. And again, it's to be able to empower that youth to now be able to go out into the world and hopefully come back to Dufferin County or, give back to Dufferin County Canadian Black Association so that we can continue on that legacy and focusing on that community type of network to be able to build and elevate each other. The other aspect would be a dream from a business perspective. And we see this in Brampton and other communities where, a certain group would own an entire plaza, right? It would be my dream to be able to have a plaza that is Black owned, right? So that all of our people can come in or anyone can come in and essentially establish their operations in a Black owned plaza. So that is more a long-term strategy, but again, DCCBA will be here for forever. So long-term strategy is definitely one key for us.
Well, excellent. Well, we're going to take a bit of a break to give our young lady a break because she's been on such fire this morning. And would like to say the deputy mayor is in the house with his comments. He actually, and saying thanks for providing this platform for our community. So we're going to take a bit of a break. And when we come back, we'll get a little bit of a deeper dive on what this association does, some of its wins, because we've heard about some of the challenges, but we want to get some of the wins also. You're watching The Morning Vibe with myself and Ryan Oneil Knight, budding media superstar that he is. And thanks for everyone who's watching live. We really appreciate your input in the real time. So we'll be back in just a moment. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, and it is Black Canada Talking time. Black Canada Talking is a live online event that provides Black Canadians the opportunity to give their takes on stories, POVs that are of importance to them, or we showcase Black Canadians who are doing their thing.
The real aspect of what goes on behind the walls or behind the fence is a totally different persona and a totally different picture.
There was just a big sense of relief when we finally got there.
We have to realize that everything we do is going to have an impact on probably a lot of people we don't even know.
One of the mandates of the CBC is to reflect Canada back to itself.
Not a lot of sustainable long-term movement that will affect economic change.
God bless, peace well, keep the faith, and walk good.
All right, I believe we are back again.
Yes,
so
we are back.
Good. And well, just before we went into the break, Dr. Vibe, you talked about, the wins for the organization. And that's where I would love to start with after coming from the break, just to hear about, hey, the scholarship was great. I got to tune in and watch and see the students accepting their award. And it's amazing. And you were talking to Alethia about it being fully funded. But even where it is, it does so much great positive impact. And it could only get better as it grows. So what has been some other initiatives that you guys were able to start? And you guys have been only around for such a short time, but have done so much more that I've seen other organizations doing. So yeah, if you wanted to highlight kind of the timeline.
Yeah, so we formally registered the association last June, and we quickly, gathered together a team or board of directors. And, in the meantime, we're building out our website and officially launched to the public around November 17th of last year. During that time, it was all hands on deck. And I can't tell you how many times I've called my deputy mayor and say, hey, what do you think about this year? How many times I've nagged my husband, what do you think about this idea? And, my friends and, so many of my supporters, just being there and listen to the growing pains. So I think that in itself is a success and a testament to the need for the community, as well as the support around, to be able, and again, reinforce that message that, it takes community to establish and build something great, right? You can't do it alone. And fast forwarding into the new year, when we really started to ramp up, we started off the new year with a series called Ask Our Experts. And so we've been fortunate to have industry leaders come on board every single month to offer their expertise to our community free of charge. So they're basically giving off their time to the community, to the organization, because again, they believe in the work that we're doing. They see the value and the importance of not only giving back, but providing that education to our community. So we kicked off the year with personal branding, right, as well as business branding. So how do you put yourself out there in the best light? How do you put your product out there, your organization out there in the best light? You talked about politics earlier. The last session that we had was around the nuts and bolts of municipal politics with our Deputy Mayor, Steve Anderson. And again, just sharing some of those critical pieces of information, those foundation pieces that anyone who's interested in politics needs to know. Operation Black Vote was on earlier.
Hold on. Hold on a second. Was Ryan on for the politics too?
Not yet. Listen, they got a much better guest in Deputy Mayor Steve Anderson. I was there. I should have been there taking notes. But
sorry about that.
Continue. We do have a YouTube page, Ryan, so feel free to browse and then get caught up on all the things that you may have missed. So Ask the Expert series, another one of our key successes that, we definitely want to celebrate and shout out to the world that, we have been able to accomplish with the help of all our partners and supporters. The other critical thing that is important is the advocacy piece that we have been doing. So earlier this year, during Black History Month, we had a member, actually a DCCBA member, post on Facebook that their student was reading a book that had several, occurrences of the N-word, and it was a trigger moment for her. It was a trigger moment for her child. It was very uncomfortable. So we were able to, immediately take action and reach out to the school board and, ask for the book to be not only removed, but to have a full review of the curriculum to make sure that there was no other, possibly triggering books for our students. And, I'm proud to say that they responded immediately to say that the book has been removed, and they're doing a full cleanse of all of the books in the curriculum that has been assigned for Black History Month. So that was a huge win. The other advocacy piece, again, is that, again, I'm very proud to celebrate that we were able to accomplish was around vaccine equity. So we had our Chief Medical Officer of Health present at one of the numbers and the impacts, especially to our racialized communities. And so we were able to use that as our jump off point again to be able to advocate for our Black community using data that already existed in places like Toronto and even stats from the States to be able to say, okay, fine, we know and we've heard that racialized communities are 5 times more impacted, and the death rate is 25% more for Black communities than our white counterparts. Population is that much smaller. What can we do? And so with partnership with Wellington Dufferin Guelph Public Health, we were able to gather a task force essentially of doctors to come. That information is available on our website. And so again, through the advocacy work, we were able to have Dr. Akwatu Kenti and Dr. Tenenbaum come on board and share their knowledge with us, provide us with some facts, and debunk some of the myths that exist within our community around vaccine hesitancy. And again, it wasn't to tell everybody to go out and get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine. It was more to provide that information, accurate information, so that our community had the right resources to be able to make decisions for themselves. And so through that, we were able to, of course, ensure that our community had the right information. And we were able to now share some of the resources that are available for individuals who want to go get the vaccine, here in our Dufferin County community. So those are some of the 2 critical pieces that we were able to do. And of course, when there are Islamophobia, we're still there to support, right? So we're not the experts, but we have a voice, we have a platform, so we can help and be that ally for our community to make sure that, again, the human race is protected. So yes, we are DCCBA, the Dufferin County Canadian Black Association, but we also recognize the need for allyship and to be able to support our fellow human beings. So those are some of the great things that we have been able to accomplish. And again, I've mentioned partners several times. We could not have done the work that we are doing without their support. And again, Ryan, I'm going to give you a shout out because you have also been there, through ACBN, sharing your knowledge and inviting us to the table and making sure that we are included. So again, community partnership speaks volumes for the work that we're doing.
And I always touch on what does it look like to be fully resourced? And again, we were doing some surveys across different organizations and finding out where they're at. So when you're fully resourced, and I'm curious to find out what would that look like? What do you feel like you'd be able to accomplish? And would you lean into the advocacy or would you lean in somewhere else?
So we would definitely lean in advocacy, but that's not our only focus. We focus on financial literacy and tutoring as an example. We also have a small focus on building or businesses, so making sure that they're able to scale. And so now that we have established, look at leveraging some of those partnerships. Fully resourced would mean that we have, for example, a program manager on board who's now full-time, perhaps, who can now go out and execute, build some of the programs around financial literacy, build some of those programs around tutoring. And these two items, I believe, are critical, especially for our community. We need to make sure that our students have the right knowledge and the tools and the resources to set them up for success for the future. And so having someone who's fully funded to be able to go out and deliver those programs for future success.
Excellent. Let me ask, can you share a challenging moment that the association was going through and how you came out on the winning side?
Wow. I can't really think of any challenging. I think we've had moments that has caused us to pause and reflect on, what our vision and strategy is. And, simple things such as, the name of the organization, who is our focus group, right? And so that was a huge concern, because when you say Black, there's so many different communities. We're representing the entire diaspora. How do we make sure that everyone is included? And so as you look at our website, we spell out specifically that, if you're from the Caribbean, if you're from the African continent, that you are included. And so those are some of the things that has caused us to pause and to make sure that, our message is crisp, and to make sure that we are very inclusive of our organization. The other thing that has caused us to be able to articulate what our vision and our purpose is around the diversity and inclusion aspect of things. So when we make all of our programs, for example, or Ask the Expert programs, we're not saying that if you identify as non-Black that you can't participate. Part of the education component is to make sure that we're educating the community, right, around all of our issues, so that they can see, they can learn, and they can grow. And likewise, we're also able to learn and grow. So that's the other component that we had to be able to make our vision crisp, so that people understand that, yes, we understand and we know that our focus is on our Black community. There is a need to establish something for this community. But we also make sure that we are also inclusive. So,
okay. Ryan, any last questions or comments?
I did. I was curious around the word acceptance. And a lot of times new organizations come around, and even in my company, like, we're running this youth entrepreneurship program, and you get more acceptance outside of your community than you do inside. And then you almost have to put up certain safeguards to be like, make sure and be purposeful to get your community in. And like you're saying with the financial literacy, hey, anybody can come to it. And same with ACBN, we feel like we put out such good content that it's good for anybody. But how has it been getting our people to the events? Like, how's the acceptance been with your organization when you put out these workshops or different initiatives?
I can hear Dr. Vibe's voice right now, trauma repetition, right? And so I think that is part of the challenge. We've had to go out and really just tap individuals and say, this program is available. The scholarship as an example. The scholarship has been made available from, I believe, January, and the uptick wasn't there. We weren't seeing the And so we literally reached out saying, you qualify, I encourage you to apply. If you're having challenges with, an essay, if you're having challenges applying, please reach out and we'll make sure that there is somebody there to support you. It should not have to be that difficult, but that is the reality of what we faced. And so reaching out and doing that tap to say, we are here, we're able to support you, is one of the things that we're receiving those benefits. And as you mentioned, the first supporters were not from our community, right? But again, it's not to say that we don't recognize the value. It also speaks volumes to the importance of the work that we're doing. If others are now willing to come on board and support, right? So it's just now a matter of reaching out to within our own community and making sure that they are aware, they have the resource. And sometimes we want to see that this is great. We want to see that this is fantastic, right? And so now if we look at trending over the past year, we're seeing more and more of our Black community coming out and supporting the organization. And I think it's part of being credible and making sure that you're setting up yourself for success and set up excellence right on the board.
Well, one of our live viewers, Trisha, is saying because it's such a rural community, making one-on-one relationship is crucial in building.
Absolutely. That is definitely key. And again, talking about some of the programs, it's reaching out to those individuals that need it most. And even as far as in our schools, reaching out to the schools and say, we have this program available specifically for our Black students. And again, we had to stress also the fact that just because it's a Black association and it's catered to our Black students, doesn't mean that it's a free-for-all. You still have to qualify. You still have to have a certain level of excellence, just like any other scholarship, just like any other students, right? The point is that we have created something that is specifically for our community. And so that's the other message that we try to put out there as well, that it's still something that you still have to qualify for. It's not a free-for-all. It's not going to be a handout saying, hey, we're giving you something just because, right? So that was the other key message that we had to make sure we were able to put out there for the community.
But I wanted to double down on that because it's so important when we put out initiatives and it's not lesser quality because it's for the Black community. It's not lesser criteria because it's for the Black community. We saw this when we were doing the microloans. So we're giving out money, but the applications that come in still have to be good. It can't be now bad business plans are getting funded, or like you would say, bad essays are getting scholarships. You still have to hit a certain threshold, even though it's for you, it's for the Black community. We are still demanding a certain level of quality, but the difference is we will help you get there. We will help you get to that baseline that allows you to qualify for these things, because that baseline is going to allow you to qualify for anything that's out there. Any scholarships that involve essays, you're going to be able to write those essays as well. So I really love that you didn't water down the scholarship or didn't water down the criteria. You're still expecting excellence. And watching the students that were getting the scholarships, I saw that. I saw that the quality was there. The students were excellent, and they deserved to get the support, and it showed in the presentation. So I really love how the approach that you guys are taking.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, for me, the scholarship ceremony was a moment of pride for the entire team, because in French, right? So, and then we have other individuals in the community that are already giving back, have aspirations of establishing a nonprofit organization of their own. So, and again, all A+ students, right? The quality, the caliber of for applicants and the winners is something
Well, Alethia, we'd like to say thank you so much for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule as a mother, as a community leader, as a servant, and just a care for the Black community, not only in the Shelburne area, but around the world. And we appreciate everything that you and your organization is doing. If you want to find out more information about the organization, the website address is there. And certainly get in contact with them no matter where you are. As she said, she's had inquiries from all the way out in Nova Scotia, which is the eastern part of Canada, about the goings on in Dufferin County. Do you have any final words for us today?
Yes, first of all, thank you for the platform to be able to share not only what DCCBA is doing, but what we're all doing right here in Dufferin County and Shelburne. And I encourage your viewers to go out and subscribe to our newsletters. Go out and we have our merchandise store. That's another great way that you can support the organization through branded merchandise or even simply donating. And again, you've heard great work that we're doing and that we'll continue to do with all of our support. So thank you again so much, Ryan, for your partnership, your support, and for getting me in touch with Dr. Vibe. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much. You have a great rest of the day, and I have a feeling you'll be back soon on the platform.
Yes, I believe so. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, Mr. Knight. Again, all roads lead to Ryan Knight again. Wow.
Listen, we have to spotlight these gems in our community that typically do not get the recognition, just like they are recognizing, right? They're recognizing these students that deserve to shine. The leaders of these organizations also deserve to shine. So I'm just happy that we exist to give a platform for them to come in, just let more people know about what they do.
So Christopher saying congratulations, Alethia. Trisha saying congratulations and saying a thumbs up.
Yes.
This is good. So what is on for your weekend?
Oh dear. So we're doing another.
Oh dear. Okay.
Hey, we're doing another community consultation around the Black Empowerment Manifesto. So those that I guess I got a chance to read it, we've been doing like the audio book for it, a video for it. So it's become more digestible. People have questions. So the author Errol Gibbs is coming on Saturday to Empowered for X in Brampton to answer questions, and then. Yeah, I think I'm off Sunday. So
what? So you're keeping your promise.
Yes, enjoying my Sundays.
Wow.
At minimum.
So, wow. Yes. Fantastic. You see, if I had any impact, positive impact on right, a long time ago he said, I'm gonna try and so I'm pushing him to spend Sundays with the family. That's fantastic.
And my wife and kids love you for that. So
right? Someone loves me. All 100%. Right. So if I ever get kicked out of my yard, I can come and move in with the Knight family will accommodate me for a few days. I love it.
You can hold us to that, and I'll keep you to the few days. It's recorded few days.
Well done. Well done. That is fantastic. Good to hear.
How's your weekend looking this
this afternoon, I am doing one of the things I really enjoy doing is connection conversations.
Okay, yes.
So I've got two significant connection conversations with organized. The first one is with a gentleman who is a filmmaker who I'll put out his name. His name is Ernest White II, lived and grew up in Florida. We've had a relation for about 6-7 years. I knew him when he loves to do traveling around the world. So long story short, a number of years ago, he was able to curate and produce a travel series called Fly Brother, where he would be traveling to different cities around the world. And he was able to get a series, and it's out on PBS. PBS picked it up.
Excellent. Hey, send the congrats.
Yes. So, and I am introducing him to and he did not like the way things are going on in the United States. Surprise, in some ways. And so he is now living in Vancouver, BC.
Okay.
And so I've been collaborating with him to introducing him to some Canadian individuals that I feel that would be beneficial for him. So I'm doing a connection call with him and a Black Canadian platform today. And then later on this afternoon, I'm introducing a Black Canadian platform to the lady who runs the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is on the board chair, which is the Global Food and Drink Initiative is a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora that are involved in food, drink, and travel. So there's a collaboration. We've already had preliminary conversations. So there's a collaboration that you'll be seeing probably in November between those two organizations.
Okay.
Then tomorrow night, State of Things with Aisha and Jill. So they'll be giving their takes of what's going on in the United States. And then Sunday afternoon, the ad, hello, superstar. Hello. And then Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m., we're doing our weekly Black Canada Talking. This will be the first Black Canada Talking after the election call. And we'll have panelists Elle Jones, Sarah Youngo, Warren Clark is supposed to be there, but also special guest panelist Robert Small will be on. So we're going to be talking about the Canadian election from a Black Canadian perspective.
Okay, looking forward to that. So what time is it? It's on Sunday, right?
Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Wherever you are watching this now, you can just tune in Sunday at 5 p.m. We're on every Sunday afternoon. And it was interesting. Like it's coming to the 1-year anniversary of when it started this Sunday. So it was an idea put out by someone, and they said, Dr. Vibe, you have CBC has their cross-country checkup every Sunday afternoon, 5 o'clock. What's something for Black Canadians that you can do? So I was put a challenge, and 1 year later, it's still going strong and better and bigger than ever. And there could be some announcements coming down the road in regards to that, in regards to collaborating with some other organizations to really bump it up.
Excellent. Hey, congrats on that, and happy to see where it goes in the future.
Absolutely. Check out the scroll at the bottom. You can watch replays of the Morning Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube or Facebook page, or ACBN Facebook page.
Right.
Okay, there we go. So like to say, everyone, big shout out to people who made today a great success. Christopher, Trisha, Deputy Mayor Steve from Shelburne. Thank you for tuning in. And you're going to be on soon, Deputy Mayor. So we've had some conversations about that. And that's it. Have a really great weekend. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider, love, faith, and respect. And most importantly, remember to give yourselves grace. Very, very important. And we will see you on Monday. And I've been told should we tell people who we're having on Monday?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a reboot. Eldon Holder Jr. Yes, EJ.
From Dream Legacy Foundation, which is run by Isaac Olowefe. But Dream Legacy Foundation was one of the organizations a week ago today that was awarded $3 million from the Canadian government in regards to helping Black businesses and Black entrepreneurs. So we were supposed to have him on last Monday. This past Monday didn't work out. He is promising me that he will be on this Monday. So please check us out this Monday. Also, we'll have two of the organizations that receive money have been promised. Let me correct that. Have been promised to receive money from the federal government to help Black entrepreneurs. Ryan's organization, ACBN, and also Eldon Holder Jr.'s organization, Dream Legacy Foundation. So whole bunch of conversations not to be missed. Just follow Dr. Vibe on Facebook and YouTube, and you will be locked in. God bless, peace well, keep the faith, walk good, and if you're in Central Canada at least, stay cool. Bye.